Morning peeps, I'm back. And basically what I'm here to tell you today, I think, is that we now know, I think, that Haaland is not worth the money. You know, Pep himself told you a few weeks ago that City were in trouble. They've not scored more than one goal in any of their last three league games, and before that they struggled to beat Wolves. They've lost heavily in Europe. They got beaten by Tottenham in the League Cup, and they're just looking rubbish, aren't they? And 15.4 million or whatever he is, he's just not worth it. He really isn't worth it now. And the fixtures aren't great. Tottenham and Liverpool next. You know, I mean, I took him out last week and I benefited to the tune of 26 extra points from making those two transfers. I got Cunha in and Salah for Haaland and Rodgers, and it's paid off massively. And it had to be done, I think. So if you kept Haaland this week, you know, pick yourselves up, give yourselves a slap, and realise that you made a mistake. Because I was talking to a well-known manager the other day who was terrified about this week because he had no Tottenham, he had no Salah, and he was captaining Haaland, but he was really, really worried, you know. And he had a right to be worried because it was pretty clear that Haaland was in trouble, Salah's in the best form of his life, and Liverpool are breaking all sorts of records for the best start and the best this and the best that. They're top of the European League, and it's pretty clear at this stage now that Salah is a better asset than Haaland, and he's 2.5 million cheaper. So, you know, I can see why people wanted to wait till game week 12. I wanted to wait till game week 12 to do it. But there are times when you just have to move, I think, and it looks like this week was one of them. Because, honestly, I mean, were any of us really surprised that Brighton won that game? You know, and that's Man City. We should be surprised, but we weren't, because the writing's been on the wall for a while, hasn't it? So, luckily, well, not luckily, I mean, it was, you know, foresight. I took out Haaland, and I was worried about Cunha as well. So I just got them both in. You know, easy old game sometimes, isn't it? And you get 40 points. My old mate Robinson got another clean sheet. Well, I say another one. He got 6 points again. Even out Nori got 6 points. Now, the other one we got to talk about, Trent. He's another Haaland, this character. It's too expensive. And I looked at him today, and I think I've worked out what the problem is with Trent. He's not playing for his badge. He's not pumping his badge, is he? And, you know, he's injured. He's like, oh, who cares? I'm injured. I'm going off. And he didn't seem... He's lost that passion, I think. He's lost that passion. His mind's in Madrid. And even aside from all that, this season he's not playing in the same role he was under Klopp. He's less attacking, and I don't think he's had an assist all season, has he? He's had some clean sheets. But to be honest, at that price, we expect more, don't we? And he's left me with an issue. Trouble is, we don't know how injured he is. But we shall see. So I've got to work out what I'm doing this week first off. Now, if you haven't got Cunha, I think you get him. Because he's good, isn't he? He is good. I mean, people have been saying how good he is. I mean, that was a great goal, wasn't it? That goal he got. I mean, they've still got great fixtures. If good fixtures go on forever, don't they? At least another 6 games. I mean, the Fulham away isn't that easy, obviously. But, you know, he can score in any of those. And people said he was better against good teams, and but he looked pretty good against that lot, didn't he? So I think he's kind of needed now, if you haven't got him. And I've got Calvert-Lewin, which, to be honest, is a kind of a blessing that I've got Calvert-Lewin now, because he's my obvious transfer, isn't he? Not Trent. Calvert-Lewin. And my original plan was to get the Chelsea striker in Jackson for Calvert-Lewin, but I can't afford it. So I'd have to do a switch, a hit involving Trent to get Jackson in. But I'm wondering if Jackson is even worth it. I mean, he's on four yellow cards. He loves a yellow card, doesn't he? Gets a lot of them. So I'm wondering if it's not best to do this obvious transfer, Calvert-Lewin to Joao Pedro. It just seems so obvious this week for you fellow people out there that own Calvert-Lewin. They've got a good run of fixtures coming up. Bournemouth and home to Southampton, Fulham, Leicester, West Ham, home to Brentford's another good one, home to Palace is a good one. So they've got 7 good fixtures there coming up. And the good thing is, peeps, that Pedro has not been called up for Brazil, so he's not going away on the international break. You know, he's not playing up a mountain somewhere in darkest Peru. You know, having a blooming fight with Paddington or whatever they get up to when they're over there. He's like here. He's not going anywhere, and he looks like a pretty good bet to bring in. Scrappy goal, lucky points, but he is on penalties. He is an attacker for Brighton, so he is going to play most games. People talking about rotation and stuff, but that could apply to anybody. So, almost, hate to say it, but he's almost no-brainer territory, I think, Joao Pedro. I mean, the only alternative I can see is the Bournemouth striker. Even Nielsen also got reasonable fixtures. But Joao Pedro, to me, that's kind of an obvious transfer. And the good thing is that he's moved 2 million in the bank. So come game week 14, when Man United's fixtures dry up, he's actually of quite a good, easy swap to Saka. Hopefully after he's scored lots of points. So I can do that, and I've got 0.1 in the bank. And I've got my dream team. Because this, peeps, is my dream team. Like I said to you, I wanted to get Palmer, Saka and Salah. And I can achieve that within the next few weeks. If I bring in Joao Pedro. If I bring in Evan Nielsen or a slightly more expensive striker, then I'm pricing myself out of that easy move there. I don't know who I'd captain that week. What week is it? Game week 14. Palmer. Captain away at Southampton. So that's kind of a plan I'm looking at the moment. Of course, there could be more injuries tomorrow or whatever, couldn't there? But I've got I'm thinking the game week before that, I'm going to take out Trent. Because you see here, he's got Newcastle away in 14. 13 is at home to Man City. So I think I might take him out in 13 if I've got nothing else to do and just replace him with Gabriel. That looks like a plan to me. Yeah, I can do that. So that's basically all I've come on, peeps, today, is to boast about my transfers. Not really, but you know, just yeah, I think Haaland's done. I honestly do. As soon as I made that transfer on Wednesday or whenever it was, I just felt relief, because I was worried about this game week. Having Haaland instead of Salah was worrying me, and Sometimes you have to go with that. You're worried for a reason, aren't you? It's not paranoia, or it's not like general anxiety over nothing. It's because blooming Salah's been the better player and Man City have been garbage. Not garbage, but by their standards they have been. So it just had to happen, I think. A lot of managers have already come to the same conclusion anyway. Took him out a week or two ago. But you look at City's fixtures and there's no need really to even consider Haaland now until game week 18, when they've got Everton, Leicester, West Ham, Brentford and Ipswich. I mean, that's a golden 5 fixtures. But then again, you look at but just above them with Liverpool, and Salah's also got pretty good fixtures for 4 of those games. And on the other game, Chelsea's got Palace, so you could even, then you got Ipswich and Fulham. So, look, Palmer's got great fixtures during that run. So Salah, and Arsenal's are pretty good for most of it as well. So you can't have all 4 of them. So even on this spell here where Haaland's got great fixtures, even then he's not essential because the others have got great fixtures as well. So to my mind, it's almost bye-bye to Haaland here. I mean, who would you rather captain in game week 18? Salah at home to Leicester or Haaland at home to Everton? I'd probably go with Salah in that week. And then here you've got a choice between 19, you've got a choice between Haaland away at Leicester or Palmer away at Ipswich. Again, you could just as easily captain Palmer as captain Haaland. Following week, City are home to West Ham. And this is probably the one week where he has got the better fixture than the others. You might have to captain Palmer away at Palace or some such. That's the one week where it could be scary, I think, not having Haaland. But that's the only one, really, out of all that, in all that run. That's the only one where you're really scared of not having Haaland, I think. Maybe away at Ipswich. That's possibly the trickiest one. Although Chelsea are home to Wolves. And I don't think his ownership's going to be that high by then. So if you take him out now, I don't see any problem at all. I think the longer you keep him, the more of a mess you're risking getting yourself into. It's got to a point now where having Haaland is risky. Just because of, look how the people without him are getting their teams together, spending the money, and teams are looking much better than the teams with Haaland in. Because even when you get rid of Haaland, it takes you another 2 or 3 weeks to get a decent team together. And so the later you take him out, the longer it takes for you to recover, basically. So I'm just pleased, really pleased, peeps, that I took him out this week. I really am. Who would you captain next week? Palmer away at Leicester. Who's at home to Leicester? No, away at Leicester. Or Salah away at Southampton. I think you go for Salah, don't you, next week? He's another one who's not going away. Apparently the Egyptian manager's given the international break off, so he's not even going away on international duties. So a vice captain Palmer for that week. And like I said, we'll probably bench Johnson. I'm going to keep Johnson and Solanke. A lot of people saying, it's Solanke's next week or whatever. But look at his price. Look at Solanke's price, 7 million. I don't think you take Solanke out, to be honest. There's a reason Tottenham are top of the standings for expected goals or whatever. Unless he's really awful against Ipswich, but it's unlikely, isn't it? So I think that's about it, peeps. That's all I've really come on to have a quick look. I think I've decided doing this, which is why I did it, because it helps me to think, that Joao Pedro just looks obvious. Absolutely obvious. When you could, I mean, every tenth of a million counts, doesn't it? And Pedro's the cheapest of the cheap ones. You know, he's even cheaper than Evan Nielsen and all of those people. Better than Welbeck probably, and it just looks obvious, you know, for Calvert-Lewin owners to go there. Really, trying to force Jackson in is a problem for me personally, because it rules out the Salah, Palmer and Saka combination. Although when we looked at those captains, game week 18 or whatever, I don't think Saka popped up in any of them, did he? So Saka's not essential probably, but he is good, isn't he? So he will likely be my Fernandes replacement in a couple of weeks. Anyway, peeps, I'm off now. You know, this one hasn't been extremely funny or any hilarious stories or anything, but I just thought I'd put it out there anyway, because I'm sitting here looking at my team, so I thought I may as well do it live, give you something to look at if you're bored. You'd have to be pretty bored, to be fair. Anyway, peeps, that's a what's this saying? We'll have a look at, I'll tell you what we'll do for the next video. We'll have another look at the FPL review and see what that's saying I should do this week. Because last week it wanted me to get rid of my mate Robinson there. We got 6 points. Wanted me to get rid of him and bring in Pinnock. Madness, peeps, madness. But we'll see what the machine's got to say for itself in a couple of days when it's sorted itself out. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's agreeing with me this week, because it loves Joao Pedro. Absolutely loves it, the old FPL review. But I'm thinking that looks like the obvious move this week. You know, I mean, like I said, I could take out Trent, but it's not the ideal time probably to buy Gabriel, is it? Who have Arsenal got? Oh, why did West Ham? No, Forest. Yeah, my defenders are all right this week, I think. Well, Trent himself got Southampton, so yeah. Anyway, I'm off to now, peeps. So like and subscribe. I'll be back in a day or two, and we'll see what's happening anyway. Okay, so cheers for now then, peeps.